Good morning, everyone. We're looking at John's Gospel, chapter 14 today, verses 1 to 6. And in it is quite an interesting interaction between Jesus and Thomas the apostle. Jesus says to everyone, "You know the way to the place where I am going." And Thomas, who's been with Jesus all the time and listening to him, says, "How can we know the way?" Now, Thomas is saying, "How can we know the way?" What choice do we have? Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." So in other words, if we want to know how we're going to have eternal salvation, all we have to do is look to Jesus. The interesting thing from that, the thorny issue, if you like, Jesus says no one can come to the Father except through me. And this saying has often been used by religious preachers and teachers to say, you cannot get into heaven except through Jesus Christ. You say, where does that leave other religions? Where does that leave people who are still looking and haven't found Jesus? Well, you see, it's probably, we'll say, less complicated if we understand that it is through the influence of Jesus Christ that we have access to the Father. And that is freely given. That access is freely given. Now, those people who are still searching may not have found Jesus. How does Jesus respond to that? "I am the good shepherd," he says, as we've been looking throughout this week. "I am the good shepherd. If you want to come to the Father, just follow me and follow the way that I do things." It comes back to what we said on Monday and throughout this week. We need to know the shepherd. If we know the shepherd by having engaged with him, even through the actions of others, and there comes our responsibility, is to show the actions of a good flock, to show the actions and the love of God, so that others may want to follow perhaps our influence to the Lord. And that's a great challenge, but it's a great responsibility too. The shepherd will lead us if we just turn to him. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you again. God bless. Oh, by the way, don't forget the wine evening this evening. Bring a friend. See you then. God bless. Bye-bye.